All right, so this is Aiden, and welcome back to the Cedar Log. Today we are here with Paul, our lodge treasurer. Is there any way you would like to introduce yourself, Paul? Or
Hello, my name is Paul Simonuk. As Aiden said, I'm serving as the 2024 Unami Lodge treasurer. And yeah.
Now we're going to get into a few questions really quick. What is your hometown?
I am from Upper Chichester, Pennsylvania. That is right on the Pennsylvania-Delaware line.
Do you do anything outside of scouting? And if so, what are your hobbies?
Outside of scouting, I really just focus on academics. This year, I've can we start there?
Yeah.
Sorry.
What do you do outside of scouting? What are your hobbies, Paul?
So outside of scouting, I just do a lot more community service, as well as focusing on my academics. Besides that, not much else.
All right. When did you begin scouting?
I began scouting as a Cub Scout in 2013, I believe. I was involved with Pack 495 in my hometown, and eventually wound up in Troop 495, and now I am a proud member of Crew 1957.
All right. What is one embarrassing story from your scouting career?
Oof.
If you want to share. You can skip
That's a tough one. Probably the fact that I still cannot build a very good fire. Can definitely keep it going, but I've had times where I built a fire and people have just stared at me, and it's like, hey, I tried.
When did you first join the OA, and how was your ordeal?
I joined the OA back at Fall Fellowship of 2021. It was honestly not that bad. It was a very cold and just damp night. But then for the service project, we actually trailblazed the new pre-ordeal ceremony site trail at Musser Scout Reservation in Camp Hart. That goes right between Green Turtle and Turkey. And we were able to blaze the entire trail, get everything done within that, pretty much first 4 to 5 hours in the morning. It was honestly pretty insane.
How did you first get active in the OA, and what positions have you held in the past?
So when I became active in the Order of the Arrow, I was more or less pulled straight into chapter leadership. Directly after my induction, there was the Minquist chapter meeting. We had that on Zoom because we were still coming out of that sort of the COVID era, and entering back into in person. But we were sort of trying to make sure that we were able to get into the Pennsylvania Institute of Technology for those chapter meetings. And so more or less it was no one was really wanting to run for chapter vice chief. I figured might as well give it a shot. There's no reason I shouldn't. And I wound up receiving the role and serving as the Minquist chapter vice chief for 2022. Alongside that, I was a proud member of the OA inductions and ceremonies process during that following year in 2022 at Rescue Scout Reservation. Was able to meet a whole bunch of different people, do a whole bunch of ordeal inductions and brotherhood inductions throughout that summer. And that's probably one of the also most rewarding experiences I've had in terms of role-wise, as week after week after week, I was able to induct new brothers and seal other brothers' bonds. And that was just very meaningful to me. Last year, I was able to have the opportunity then to serve as the 2023 Lodge Treasurer and had been reelected for the role back in October.
What are your goals this year in your position?
So for my goals this year, it was more or less a lot of the same from last year. Get a few new properties together, focus on rather quality than quantity. Because another main thing with our trading post is ensuring that we don't have too many items that oversaturate how much is in our stock. And so it's been very important to me that as we're considering different property ideas, that we actually fully assess whether or not we believe an item will sell, especially in terms of pricing, what it will cost to manufacture, what final product designs may look like. So that's really in terms of my treasury role. Besides that, I've been the lead of the Thrive Inductions team as an officer. And that's been a lot of my main focus this year is sort of restructuring and reimagining the way that we go about our inductions process to try and create something that flows a lot smoother and is sustainable not only for like the next 5 years, but well into the future.
What is your vision for the lodge?
My vision for the lodge is honestly a place where people can come together, no matter who they are, and just be able to bond over the thing that, well, binds us each to every other. And that is, we are all members of the Order of the Arrow. We've all been through the ordeal. No matter what, we've all had that same similar shared experience. And because of that, we're able to immediately, just sort of click with one another. I feel like it, especially not just like scouting events in general, but there too, but especially more so at Order of the Arrow events. You can walk up to someone that you've never known before, ever, immediately have a connection with them. You've done that ordeal. You both have that similar shared experience. You guys have a already general respect for one another. And so it's a lot less anxiety bearing. And so I want to make sure that the environment that we're creating within the lodge is going to continue to feed into that idea of inclusiveness and making sure that anyone can be who they are truthfully within our lodge.
What do you want your legacy to be?
My legacy. I mean, all that really matters to me is the impact that I can have on others. And the most rewarding thing I can see from that is the smiles that appear on other people's faces from the different things I've worked on. Assisting in planning these weekends, the inductions processes. The biggest thing that matters to me is being able to leave a long-term impact on individuals, being able to see those smiles on their faces, and leaving those long-lasting memories that they'll remember all throughout their lives. Because the most important thing to me, like I said, is not leaving something physical behind, because that'll deteriorate over time. Rather, you want to make an impact on people's lives. That's what's most important to me.
Who would say your greatest influences in BLA?
That's a tough one. I feel like there isn't one specific influence, because the one thing I've learned all throughout, not just my scouting career, but life in general, is it's never the best idea to take direct advice or just general ideas from just a single individual. Rather, it's a greater idea to panel multiple different people, get multiple different perspectives. I'll go ahead and list a few people who have, inspired me, that I've looked up to. Some of which being people like Liam Lynch, Terrence Lindsay, Matt Carlson. There are really some people who have inspired me to keep going above and beyond, to, really strive for what I want to see within the lodge. Thrive Inductions back in November or October, that is when I was able to uptake my role as that lead. That was because of Liam Lynch. And Liam Lynch, as well as Terrence, have been able to more or less support me all throughout this entire process, allowing me to make these relatively drastic changes to our inductions process that need to be done to ensure a sustainable future.
All right, so now we're going to move into some more rapid fire questions. So, do you have a favorite food?
Ooh, that's a tough one. A lot of food is good. Favorite thing I've eaten in my life probably is this Chipotle chicken mac and cheese from an Irish pub in New York City. That was amazing.
Do you have a favorite color?
Favorite color? Probably, honestly, like olive green, similar to like the BSA shorts, maybe a bit darker. Like general forest colors, I guess you'd say.
A favorite movie or TV show?
I don't watch a lot of movies or TV. I'll say recently I did watch Three Body Problem. Loved that show. Great series.
Do you have a favorite sport?
Probably lacrosse. It's a very like undervalued and underrepresented sport, but it is so much fun to watch and play.
A favorite song?
Uh, Another tough one. I listen to a lot of different types of music. Probably nothing in specific, being honest, because again, just it all depends on how I'm feeling at that moment. So yeah, nothing in specific in terms of that.
Do you have a favorite person from history?
That's a great question. So many people know Walt Disney as obviously the person who made the Walt Disney Company. The one that is often underrepresented within that story is his brother Roy. Roy Disney is the one who went ahead and Walt was always the dreamer. Roy was the one who brought those dreams to fruition. And so Roy's always been sort of one of those people that you can look to and realize no matter what some others may think, if they have an ambitious thought that they're not sure about how they can like possibly go about bringing it to fruition, Roy was that person that they could go to. No matter what idea Walt thought up, they could go to Roy. He'd find some way to make it happen. And I feel like that's something that we all need, like that open mind perspective, out of the box thinking, because there's very little of that happening, especially in our modern times.
Do you have a favorite patch?
Favorite patch? Honestly, I really do like our new standard flap. It's very bold and honestly, probably one of the cleanest patches I've seen. If not our new standard, I'd probably say the 2022 NOAC fundraisers, the orange-white ghosted flap, one of my favorites that I own.
All right, so now we're going to move into some more lighthearted questions. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
I'd argue yes. Pineapple on pizza isn't that bad because I'm one of those people who likes salty and sweet at the same time. What's one of my favorite flavor combinations? And so as long as it's done right, pineapple on pizza can't work.
Is McDonald's better than Burger King?
Yes, hands down.
Is Coke better than Pepsi?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't know. I don't really drink either. So I feel like I can't make a very informed decision on that.
Is cake better than ice cream?
No. I feel like cake. Well, I mean, it depends on my mood, I guess, but most often I'd rather choose ice cream just because cake, I feel like, is like one of those things that'll just get really like just soggy and like stick in your teeth very easily. I hate that feeling.
Should you bite or lick your ice cream?
I'm sorry, if you're biting ice cream, you're doing something wrong. That just hurts, and I don't know what you're doing, but definitely you should be licking your ice cream.
All right. That's it, Paul. Thank you for your time.